You ever meet someone and just click, like instantly? Or when a bunch of coincidences line up and you just think, wow, that feels fated. It's the sense of these invisible threads connecting all of us, kind of pulling the strings of our lives in ways we don't always get to see. So let's get into it, because today we are exploring this ancient idea that actually gives a name to these powerful, unseen forces. There's an old saying that just nails this feeling perfectly. It basically suggests that even the tiniest moments, just brushing past a stranger on the street, are actually the result of some deep, long history that we've totally forgotten. It really frames our whole reality as like a series of cosmic appointments. Really think about it for a second. That person you immediately felt like you could trust, or that job offer that just appeared out of thin air right when you needed it most, or maybe even a difficult relationship that seems to follow the same frustrating pattern over and over. These moments, they often feel like they're being guided by something way more than just random luck. Well, that something more actually has a name. It's called Yuan. Now, this isn't just fate, right? Because fate kind of implies this fixed, unchangeable path. And it's not quite karma either, which is really just focused on the consequences of our actions. It's the web itself. It's the whole intricate network of causes and connections that shapes our reality. So what in the world is this force, really? Let's break down its core meaning, because it's a concept that pretty much acts as the operating system for all of life's biggest twists and turns. Okay, so at its heart, Yun is the why behind everything. It's the root cause that connects our past actions, our thoughts, our words, our deeds, to what's happening to us right now. A good way to think about it is like a cosmic balance sheet. Every major interaction we have is either us settling an old debt or creating a new one. Now, definitions are one thing, but stories really make it come alive. So let's look at a few examples of how these invisible threads can weave destinies across not just years, but centuries. This first one is, wow, it's intense. So an ancestor of this scholar, Feng Xiaoru, has a dream telling him not to, but he ignores it and orders a nest of red snakes to be completely destroyed. A generation later, the Snake King, just filled with vengeance, is reborn as Feng Xiaoru himself. Centuries go by. Now, as a high-ranking official, Feng Xiaoru goes out of his way to enrage the new emperor. He pushes and pushes him until the emperor doesn't just execute his family, which was the traditional 9 clans. He goes a step further and annihilates a 10th clan, his students and peers. It's a horrific tragedy, but in the cold, hard logic of Yuan, it was the perfect and devastating repayment for that ancient massacre. Okay, this next story shows that not all Yuan is created equal. It's a tale of a prince who's heartbroken, wondering why the woman he loved ended up choosing his friend over him. So a monk shows him a vision of their past life. The woman he loved was a corpse on a beach. A first man saw her and just walked away. The prince himself was the second man, who saw her and did a small kindness. He covered her body with his robe. But his friend was the third man who took the time to carefully and respectfully bury her. So you can see how it plays out. The depth of the action directly determined the depth of the connection. For that small debt of kindness, she repaid the prince with a short, meaningful love affair. But for the profound debt of burial, well, she was destined to repay that friend with her entire life. But Yuan isn't just about things that happened hundreds of years ago. It can be created or completely changed in a single powerful moment. Get this. There's a story of a scholar who's literally on his way to commit murder. So, as the scholar is walking towards his friend's house, a high monk with spiritual sight sees these evil ghosts just eagerly following him, all ready to help him do this dark deed. But then, at the last second, right at the door, the scholar stops. He thinks about his friend's innocent wife and his elderly mother, and he can't go through with it. He turns around and starts walking home. And as he does, the monk sees a totally different scene. The ghosts, gone. And in their place are these benevolent heavenly guardians escorting the man home in a field of light. And that just perfectly captures the monk's exclamation, right? A single thought can move gods and ghosts. In today's terms, you could almost call this the ultimate act of cognitive reframing. That one thought of compassion, that single moment where he chose forgiveness over revenge, completely flipped the script on the spiritual forces around him and, changed his entire destiny. This all brings up a massive question, doesn't it? If all these events are predetermined by things we did in the past, are we just puppets? Are we just playing out some script that was written for us ages ago? Is there any room at all for free will? So are we just puppets? The answer, according to these teachings, is a clear no. And the famous story of Yuan Liafan is the proof. A fortune teller mapped out his entire life for him. Every exam he'd take, every promotion he'd get, even the exact year he was supposed to die. And for years, everything came true, right on the money. But then he decided to dedicate himself to performing thousands and thousands of good deeds. And you know what happened? The predictions shattered. He got a higher rank than he was supposed to. He had children he was told he'd never have. And he lived way, way longer than his destined age. The man literally rewrote his own fate. So, if we can change our fate, then we absolutely need to understand the rules of the game. Yuan isn't just random chaos. It runs on a pretty consistent set of principles, that karmic operating system we were talking about. All right, here are the fundamentals. First, we create it. It's not happening to us, it comes from us. Every action, every thought, it's like planting a seed. Second, the stronger the emotion, we're talking passionate love or bitter hatred, the deeper the yuan and the stronger that connection is going to be. Third, it's a debt that has to be paid. Good or bad, the books have to be balanced eventually. And finally, the law of cause and effect is certain. That last quote is so important. If it seems there's no result, it's only because the time has not yet come. Trust me, the payment will arrive. Okay, this is probably the most important part of all of this. If we're the ones creating yuan, and it operates by a set of rules, well, that means we can actively work with it. So let's look at the path to clearing out those negative debts and actually weaving a better future for ourselves. So how do we actually do it? First, repent and give. You have to sincerely acknowledge past mistakes and then give without expecting a single thing in return. It's like making payments on an old cosmic credit card. Second, forgive and accept. Forgiving other people severs those negative cords that keep you tied to them. And when tough times happen to you, accepting it gracefully is seen as you settling a debt that you owed, which means you can finally move on free and clear. Third, act with goodness. This is all about proactive, moment-to-moment choices. In every single interaction, just choose the high road. And finally, cultivate good connections. Surround yourself with positive people and wisdom that'll help you stay on the right path and stop creating new problems. You know, without this kind of understanding, we're really just like fish caught in this huge, invisible net, just being tossed around by currents we can't see or control. But by understanding these principles and actually acting on them, we can go from being the fish to becoming the one who weaves the net. We get to take control. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. Knowing that every single moment is a thread, every kind word is like a stitch of gold, and every angry thought is a tangled knot. What's the pattern that you are weaving into the fabric of your life, right here, right now?